Or is this full-time MMA now?
I love full-time MMA right now.
Full-time MMA?
MMA,
Nothing else?
My life, man, yeah.
Back to the daily grind, and shout out to the full-time patrons. Make sure to hit subscribe if you're new and hit thumbs up if you're not a baby back bagel biting bitch boy, cause you know what time it is. It's full time.
MMA.
As some of you may know, UFC 225 is the most stacked card of the year to date for the UFC. As headline, we got 2 title fights. We got Holly Holm versus Megan Anderson, Curtis Blades versus Andre Arlovski. But even if you go down to the Fight Pass prelims and the early Fox prelims, the card is stacked. Now, of all those fights, we also got a banger on our hands between Tai Tuivasa and Andre Arlovski. Tai Tuivasa is an up-and-coming UFC heavyweight talent. He's very young in his game. He's never been out the first round. He's knocked everybody out that he's faced. He's undefeated, and he's going to be taking on the pitbull Andre Arlovski at UFC 225. And ahead of that, he spoke with the UFC. This is an actual article from UFC.com, and he talked about some of his training ahead of the fight. He said, "I do and I don't like grappling, but it's something we have to do, especially in this sport of MMA. It's like a love-hate relationship. You can imagine somebody that likes to get in slugfest or likes to knock guys out. Not always the guys that are more known for their striking are in love with grappling, because they've got a ways to catch up, especially as far as wrestling is concerned. But this is MMA, as he said, so you've got to be well-rounded, so you still have to get in there and train your grappling." But whenever he was asked if he's been pulling off any submissions in training, this is what he had to say. "No subs from me, only subs from Subway." That is why Tai Tuivasa is part of a fan favorite. He's not just he's also a fun fighter, but on top of that, he's got a very entertaining fighting style. He's coming in there, he's trying to take dudes' heads off, put them away, and get out of there in the first round. And after he's done, Tai Tuivasa is probably going to hit a nasty-ass shoey on the way back to the backstage. If you don't know what that is, Tai Tuivasa likes to take fan shoes, or the last one that we saw in the UFC, luckily for Tai Tuivasa, looked like a clean shoe, but they put beer in the shoe and then he drinks that shit. Well, there's stories of Tai Tuivasa not having it not being a clean shoe, and it not just being beer in the shoe. This motherfucker, the fans will spit in the shoe. You know what I'm saying? And he just knocks it back, man. He lives for that shit. So very entertaining guy, Tai Tuivasa. Also has a podcast with another UFC fighter, I believe, light heavyweight, if not a middleweight, Tyson Pedro. I'm going to have to check out some episodes of that. I've heard it's a good podcast, and both of these guys have some, personalities in their up-and-coming rising UFC stars, potentially, in Tai Tuivasa as a heavyweight knocking dudes out. You know how it is. The heavyweights are the baddest men on the planet because they're the heaviest weight class. So, with that being said, Tai Tuivasa is undefeated. He's fighting Andre Arlovski at UFC 225, and he's not planning on any submissions unless you're talking about submissions from Subway. No, subs from Subway. I thought that was a pretty funny line. But ahead of that, man, yeah, this fight's going to be on the pay-per-view. Tai Tuivasa versus Andre Arlovski. If Tai Tuivasa gets this win, it'll be the biggest win of his career, and I'm sure he'll be looking for a top 10 UFC heavyweight opponent after that, potentially en route to, who knows, being a future heavyweight title contender in the UFC. Keep your eyes on this fight, but don't blink. It is what it is, man. Let the full-time family know what you think in the comments. I'm out. And as always, thanks for checking out this video. If you want to join the notification gang, make sure you hit subscribe and also hit the bell next to it so you're notified every time I upload a video. And if you want to help this channel reach its full potential, consider hitting the PayPal link in the description or going to patreon.com/fulltimemma and becoming a patron. I'm out.
This is #1 bullshit.